So hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Coates Gilbert, and I am broadcasting live to you tonight from Dallas, Texas. And I started She's Reading with Kelly Coates Gilbert about a month ago, and we already have well over 500 members. And so I'm so tickled about that. And we've been having so much fun with these author chats. Tonight, we've got someone that I think I've disclosed on here before that I'm a little bit of a book celebrity groupie. And I brought tonight somebody that is one of my very favorite authors. There is a reason why she's a powerhouse in the women's fiction genre, and it's Ashley Farley. And she has some of the most wonderful books. They're about family. They've got that Southern flair that I adore. Lots of relationship drama, lots of secrets. The setting is unbelievable. So I'm really excited to bring Ashley on board. So hi, Ashley.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks so much for having me. I'm just thrilled to be here, and I appreciate your kind words.
Oh, you're welcome. Well,
with your work as well.
Yeah, let me tell the readers just a little bit about what your readers say. Her readers say this about her new book, Tangled Ivy. This is one of the most heartfelt and intriguing books I've ever read. And then here's another one. She said, Ashley's books are always difficult to put down. I would agree.
Yay.
In fact, I started reading one with a flashlight the other night, but never mind that. And then her characters were so relatable and felt like friends. And I agree, because so many, I think your characters are your strength. Your characters are so well rounded, and they just feel like real people walking through your pages.
Well,
so
thank you. Thanks so much. It really means a lot, because I do work hard on it. We all do work hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you do a fabulous job. So I'm curious. I'd like to know about your writing journey. When did you know you wanted to write? How did that come about?
Well, I'm not one of those people that always wanted to be a writer, but I have always been an avid reader since back in the days of Nancy Drew.
Oh, and yeah.
I progressed from there to Danielle Steele, and from there, my mother was an avid reader. She's still to this day is never without a book. But I lost a brother in 1999, and he was 2 years older than me, but he was my hero, and it was really hard, and I struggled to. I keep everything inside, and I just didn't know how to release that pen up, those emotions. And so for several years I struggled, and then I just started writing, and just to get it out, and took a bunch of online courses, and just the whole process was very therapeutic. And Saving Ben, my first novel, really was a labor of love. It's not a memoir. I considered writing a memoir, but that seemed too close to home. So I wrote a book about a brother and a sister in college, and he struggles with some of the same things that my brother struggled with. And my brother and I were the closest during our college years. So, it was, again, a labor of love, a tribute to him. And I never thought that it would sell. I got to the end of the project. I thought, well, what am I going to do with this? So I need to hire an editor. So I found this awesome retired editor from Random House, and just randomly somebody suggested her. She's still my primary editor today. And we hit it off wonderfully. And then a very close friend. I call myself a closet writer, because I may have told my husband, I never told anybody else in my family I was working on this book, because I don't know, I wasn't confident in it. And my good friends, encouraged me. She had a local blog in Richmond, and she encouraged me to get, once I had it edited and had the cover design, she just put it up on Amazon. And so she blasted about it on her blog, and people read it. And so, that's pretty much the only people who read it. But then I just, my children were in high school at the time, and I was very involved in their lives, but I realized that they were one day going to be gone, and I wanted something for myself. So I refer to my writing as my midlife career. And so I decided, I'm going to do something different. I've been to visit my family in South Carolina, and I love it down there so much. And I thought, I want to write about sisters. I always wished I had sisters. And so, the Sweeney sisters were born.
You don't have sisters? You would wouldn't
I
be able
have
to tell.
5 sisters-in-law,
Oh, okay.
and then 1 younger brother, and I lost my older brother. But I
You're
just
right, sisters well.
oh, thank you, because I really have always wanted to have a sister.
Yeah.
I remember my brother's 6 years younger than me, and when my mother was pregnant, I remember my dad said, "Okay, if we have a girl, then you get a canopy bed, but if he has a boy, then I guess my older brother was getting something. I don't remember, but it's crushed when he came out a little boy. So,
So are
and
you the oldest?
I'm in the middle. My
You're-
older brother, I lost my older
okay.
brother, so yes. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
my sister's story. But it was fun. I mean, that's the beauty of fiction, don't you think? That you can just get
Yeah.
inside the head of your characters and sort of disappear.
Well, and I really understand what you're talking about when you're talking about processing with your brother. I have, this, I revealed far too much on here. I have 22 trunks of journals. I started journaling when I was in the 7th grade, and my life is recorded in spiral notebooks, and they're all locked. But my husband gets real cranky every time we move because he said, "Can't we get rid of these now?" And I know they should go, but I can't bear it.
Yeah.
And well, I carry my life in 22 trunks full of these notebooks, and they're small trunks. They're not, but literally I have journaled the night I met my husband 42 years ago. So
You absolutely can't get rid of those. Although you need to be prepared for your children to read them.
yeah. Yeah. But
One day.
I often say I don't know what I think until I write it down.
That's very true.
Mhm.
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
And I think that especially like now there's so much going on in the political world, I don't articulate my thoughts very well, and I never have. And that's why I like to write, because I can get it the way I want it. Things
Mhm.
come, off my lips always the way I want them to.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you mean.
Well, and I can tell, Ashley, from reading your books that you and I are fairly similar in this. I can see a huge curiosity in you. You obviously have seen situations or encountered experiences and wanted to explore those on the page. I suspect that's true.
That's very, very true. And I like to just sort of, breathe life into my characters and let them sort of show me the way. And, I can get sucked into researching, whatever. I know so many silly little tidbits about so many different things just from the research that I've done. And my husband will look at me like, "How do you know that?" Well, one of my characters experienced this.
And I read, and, I write all over my books, but I read Life on Loan. And it's funny that you talk about that blogger, because there was a blogger in that story, played a role in that story. And then a photographer. And I read somewhere that you are also a photographer.
Yes. And that photography is a hobby of mine, and it's sometimes more than others when I'm inspired. Right now, I haven't left my house much lately, as we all have them, but yeah, so that was fun. I got to really dive into photography. I mean, I already knew a lot about it, but so I got to dive into a little bit more about it. And in the series I'm currently working on, I have a musician, and so I'm been exploring that, and it's always something different.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of your series, because I want the readers to know what all you write. She wrote a really popular, and when I say really popular, it was best-selling series called the Sweeney Sisters series. And there's 6 books I found on your website. Is there more to that, or is it 6 books?
No, there's 6. There's 5 technically, and then Home for Wounded Hearts is a standalone spinoff.
Okay.
So yeah, you can throw that one in.
Yeah. But readers have, they've just loved that series. I think deep friendships between women are really fun to read about. We don't, some of this life can be very isolating and lonely. And when you connect to those characters like that, so obviously you hit the mark on that series. And then you have the Magnolia series.
Yes.
That's 2. And then Scotty's Adventures.
Yes, no, Scotty's Adventure. Scotty was a photographer. That she actually came in before the Sweeney sisters. And after Saving Ben, I wrote Mary Mary, which was just a little novella. And
It's a great cover.
Scotty kind of spun off of that. And yeah, she's just a younger character. But I think I found my niche because Scotty's a younger character. I found my niche with the Sweeney sisters because they're three middle-aged sisters experiencing a lot of what we're experiencing. It's funny because I wrote her sister's shoes, or maybe I started working on it the summer that my baby graduated from high school. I turned 50 and I celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary. And all of that happens in that novel with Jackie. So
yeah. And then you've had some really successful standalones, one of which just released. So let's talk about some of your standalones, and especially Tangled in Ivy.
Yes, Tangled in Ivy is near and dear to my heart. That novel is like it didn't turn out in the way that I started thinking about it, but it turned out so much better. And again, this is like the perfect example where I created these characters and let them sort of show me the way, and they took me on a serious roller coaster ride. And I knew.
I will tell you something, readers. It is very rare that I go to Amazon and there is a lot of reviews and an author has a 5-star average. And that book has a 5-star average, and it's well served.
You're so good. You're great for my ego, Kelly. I'm gonna hang out with you more often.
Oh, I'm a fan.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean the readers do love it. It is Southern family
with secrets
dysfunction to the hilt. And when I'm telling you, there are a lot of twists and turns in that book, and I honestly didn't even know that they were happening until I got there. And the one major twist just kind of smacked me in the head, and I didn't even know how this novel was going to end until the ending. I mean, I can't talk about it without spoiling it, but I started to leave people hanging, my readers hanging, because I wasn't even sure who, if you know what I'm saying, who belonged to whom. And I said, no, you can't do that. And so the ending just came to me one day. I was like, okay, this is perfect.
So are you a pantser or plotter? Because it sounds like you're a pantser.
I'm working on being more of a plotter. I listened to in one of my very many pandemic quarantine past. I listened to James Patterson, and he gave me, he's sort of, and it's worked out well. It's this novel I'm currently working on. I didn't do a huge plotting, but I kind of did. I followed his. It just helps me because I'll sit down literally and have an idea for a story and just start writing, and then I'll get to the point where, okay, where am I going with this, and then I have to work it out. So that it's going and a lot smoother. So yeah, a little bit of both I think is a good recipe.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm a pantser. Although I will plot, the way I see women's fiction is a character comes in the story one way and she leaves changed. And so whatever the plot points in the middle are have to be what changes her. It can be a romance, but that's not the story. It's the change. And so I will know how she's coming in and how she's leaving. And I might know a couple of the things that are going to happen to change her, but I am a pretty purist when it comes to pantsing. I sit down in the morning with my coffee and it's just like reading. I just sit down and the story starts taking off. So
I like to swim laps, and I'm blessed to be able to swim in an outdoor pool year round. And it is my sanity. And I've been able to swim all through. And literally that is where I plot. And that's where when I go, I'll swim. And by the time I leave, I have a whole chapter in my head and I'll just go home and sit down.
We just sold a house 2 years ago, but we had a pool, and that's exactly what I would do. I would write and then head out and get to a stopping point, and I'd go out and I'd swim, and it would come to me. There's something about water.
It's something, because it's such a boring exercise. I mean, it really is. You have to be able to just, because your body just moves, and you can just let your mind go. A lot of people can't stand swimming because it's so boring, but I love it. I love being outside.
I love the water. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I've got a few questions for you. Um, I want to know, what do you find to be the most challenging thing about the publishing business?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, the thing about that I really want to work on and I'm trying to work on is getting into libraries. That's
Mm,
important to me, and I think that's important to my reader. My publishing path thus far has not really aided that.
mhm,
But I'm trying to sort of I know a lot of readers are subscribed to Kindle Unlimited and they love being able to get my books on Kindle Unlimited, but that prevents me from really getting into libraries. So I'm going wide,
mm.
and so my books I'm working on, and it will take some time, but um, I'm hoping to do that. So yeah, I feel like, and of course, I think every indie author wishes that, you know, their readers can go into Target and pick up their book off the shelves. That's probably not going to happen, and that's frustrating, I think.
Mhm.
But you know, we just plug along and do the best that we can, and so that I would have to say is the one.
They're getting in libraries. I can see where library patrons would really want to pick your books up. Yeah. So here's another one. What are the core themes of your books? Like, for
Oh,
example, mine are, I'm surprised how often I write about marriage. I write about marriage a lot, and I write about family relationships a lot. And I love redemption stories. I love when a woman is believing some sort of lie about herself, and story events shake that up, and she comes out strong and confident. And I'm a fixer, I guess, and I love to write stories and fix people.
yeah, isn't that nice that you can fix people in fiction, and that you know, and you just can't in real life. It's like,
No,
fix them.
no.
Um, yeah, no, well, a lot on family, a lot on aging parents. Of course, you know, my mother is in great shape right now. I lost my father a long time ago, but you know, I've been dealing with some medical issues, crisis with her and my in-laws in recent years, and we all are. Raising children, and you know, I'm kind of all over the place, honestly. I just sort of touch on a little bit of everything, but I think friendships
Yeah,
are at the heart of it mostly,
yeah.
and in family, because
And a
I'm
lot
so
of, you have a lot of starting over stories.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
a lot of starting over. I especially loved, for any of you who are going to pick up one of Ashley's books tonight, if you've not tried her, there's so many I could recommend, but there's one that I read not long ago that I just love, and it's Life on Loan. It's this one. And it's the story of two women who are both encountering difficulties, and they end up switching houses for a little while. And in doing so, they learn about themselves, and they change, and they come out different women. And I loved it.
You know what? I love that book. I'm so glad to hear that you did too. And you know, I don't know. That book was so much fun to write, and
Mhm.
especially the very first chapter. I could like totally relate to Lena in that first
Yeah,
chapter when she's like, "I've had it. Cannot take this life anymore," and
yeah,
she just, you know, that is me, like
yeah,
holding it all inside, and she's like, "Done."
yeah.
Gets
Convincing
on the
yourself that
airplane.
it's great. You know, I
On
started
the
over.
airplane.
Um, I I had a legal career for over 30 years, and I loved it. I loved so much about it. But I'd always had this secret desire to write. It was just always this little secret inside of me. And when I was 50, I decided, if well, I had a brain bleed and a stroke, and
Oh
so that
Lord.
kind of recalibrates what you think about
Oh
things.
goodness.
And I knew that when I could, I was going to do what I wanted to do. And thankfully, my husband's a doll baby, and he's fully supported me. And so I love starting over stories. And I think women, y'all are out there, and some of you want to start over. Well, get Ashley's book, Life on Loan. You'll love it. You'll love it. These women are dolls. They just,
I
and
mean, I think
brave.
that we all
Yeah.
in middle age think
Oh,
about,
yeah.
you know, just give me a new life. There are days where we just want to escape. And these it's a little bit of a holiday, the movie The Holiday with Cameron Diaz. type of theme where they switch places. And Olivia is just a little bit more, you know, sophisticated than Lena, but very different characters.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had the most fun with
Oh,
that.
I adore that book. In fact, one of the storylines I really appreciated was when that friend that she thought was a friend wasn't. And how many times have we settled for in a relationship and it's not working, and we have a small voice that's telling us that this isn't working. And she found out the hard way it was not working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she had to learn how to shed relationships. That's hard.
Yes, it is. It is
She
hard.
became brave and wonderful. I just love the story.
Yeah,
So as
a lot of the reviews say, several of them said that it was a little make believe. But you know what? We all need a little make believe now.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's what fiction's about. It's escapism. So I want to know what your process is for creating those wonderful characters. How do you go about it? For example, I often ask the question, what lie do they believe and why? And that helps to form who they are so that I can start to figure out who they are.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard question, because I think about characters a very long time before I start actually getting to the point where I'm ready to write about them. They're kind of knock on my door, on my brain, and say, you know, hey, I'm here, I have a story. And then I usually sort of throw them into a situation. I don't always understand their motivations in the beginning. And I take it from there.
Yeah.
But I'd sit down and write that first draft. And that is, right now I'm working on the novel. I do the NaNoWriMo.
Oh, uh-huh.
I don't like engage too much on it, but I do it for the word count, for my own motivation every day, and just to get that word count out, to get it out. And then, but everything comes together in the second draft.
Yeah.
You really don't know what's going to happen in the first, but then it comes together in the second draft. And so I'll do a good second draft. And then the third one, I listen to it. But at my computer to read it back. And if you're a Mac user, that's very easy to do, but it's really helpful. It's more of a fine-tune, sentence structure and repetitive words and that kind of thing edit. But and then I send it off, and then my editor will do a big picture, and then we work on that, and then she'll do the fine-tune.
What do you ever envision visual pictures of your characters, or do you like? I start developing a novel by putting together what I call my book Bible, and that is, I use Scrivener, which is just a software program. But I go out and get pictures.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
You do too?
Absolutely, yes.
And for some of you guys on Facebook, you don't know this, but sometimes we grab your pictures and you become our photograph in our, at least I do.
Yeah, no, I don't ever go to Facebook, but I'll just Google, like, middle-aged woman with brown hair, and then I'll search it, and I'll just download her. And yeah, it's so helpful, because that helps them like come alive a little bit.
Yeah. At least initially, I'm a very visual person, so that's really helpful to me. I'm interested to know that you do that too. So which of your characters are the most like you?
Sam from the Sweeney Sisters.
Oh.
Probably Lena from the Tangled in Ivy. Lillian, thank God, not Layla, from Tangled in Ivy.
Layla
Life on Loan, was Lillian. And I mean, Lena, Life on Loan. There's so many L's. I love Only One Life. Love that book. And it was very similar to Tangled in Ivy in a way. And the sort of the historical piece, and friendship and family relate. There's every romance, that at all. And it was fun because it was set in Beaufort, South Carolina, where a lot of other ones are set.
Conroy.
Yes, my husband went on a research trip, and I haven't been to Beaufort since I was a child. And
lovely. We went last year, and it's just all the drapey moss, everything you would imagine a southern town to be.
just small
Yeah.
town, and
Oh,
they do it so well. You come to the end of a road and there's this beautiful marsh, and I love how they sit as
and
the
those
bench
big
under
and
there.
homes with the columns and the
Yes.
architecture and the big front porches.
And it poured rain the whole time I was there, and that didn't
Yeah.
it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the friendships there. So Lily and gosh, I can't even think of the primary character's name, but identify with her a lot. And so funny, the names. I don't remember when I meet people. I'm the worst when it comes to names. I can't remember my character's name.
I have to, when you've written, I mean, you've written 16 plus novels. I've written, 15. And after a while, they all start converging. In fact, one of the things my editor has to do for me is make sure she'll catch at least one time in every book now where I accidentally switch names. And for some reason, I start talking about a book 7 books ago and start using that protagonist name, because I'm just deep in thought.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I'm doing it. So.
Well, what I do is that I'll get like halfway through a first draft, and I'll like, no, this character, this is the wrong name for this character. So I change names a lot on characters, because a name, you have to, a name is a deal.
Means something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then my editor will say, well, who's such and such? Oh, well, that is actually.
Your search and replace didn't quite work. So which of your characters do your readers love to hate?
Jackie and the Sweeney sisters. Jackie means well. She just gets a bad rap. She just does. She means well. She just goes about it the wrong way.
So here's an interesting question that I love to ask. What book, other than one of your own, so it can't be one of yours, but what book would you gift to every one of your readers if given the opportunity?
Well, I mean, Crawdads, but everybody's read that one. Really loved that time travel book. They made a movie out of it. The name escapes me. You know what I'm talking about. I love that book.
Either. Yeah.
What I'm reading right now is Ellen Hildebrand's new
29 Summers.
Oh,
yeah.
It's hitting all the right notes with me. I can't wait to get in bed at night and read that book. I love all of her books, but this one is
and you write similar. I mean,
well, that's a huge
compliment. Themes and such. She writes Nantucket, you write the South, but the themes are the same. Yeah. Yeah. I answer that question by saying that I would probably, it's a funny book, but it's a book by Cassandra King, and Sandra is Pat Conroy's.
Yeah.
And
I'm a huge Pat Conroy fan.
Oh, me too. In fact, I got to meet him. I met him 2 days after I signed my first contract. I met Pat Conroy at the Pulpwood Queens, which is the nation's largest book club in America. And they're headquartered here in Texas, and they have what they call Girlfriends Weekend. And I went for the first time, and I just signed my contract. And imagine this, I'm in the bar with Pat Conroy, drinking beer.
And I believe it.
And he says, I won't quote it exactly, but he said, this business will eat you up and spit you out, and you'll love every minute of it. But Cassandra, I love her books. And her book, Same Sweet Girls, is one where it's a group of friends, college friends, that meet annually, and their stories. And it's wonderful.
What's the title again? Because you blinked out.
Same Sweet Girls.
Same Sweet Girls. I've read one of hers, but it's been a while writing that down.
Yeah, it's very good. It's definitely the kind of fiction that I think you and I love.
I love to listen to Pat Conroy on audio, just because I don't know, just something about his language is so beautiful. Yeah. And I enjoy it more when I listen to him over and over and over again.
He's one of the best writers I think I've ever encountered. He wrote, I mean, not only his books, but I read his essay on his divorce. Oh my gosh.
Really?
Gosh. Yeah. If you don't have it, I'll send it to you. Remind me.
I have a whole.
It's wonderful. So tell me how other authors have molded your work and made it better.
Oh, that's hard. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I read, well, not so much anymore, but in the beginning when I was just first learning the craft of writing, I would read, and I would really be paying more attention to how they, you know,
Mhm.
structured their sentences and dealt with dialogue and those kinds of things. And it kind of gotten to be a problem where I wasn't enjoying reading so much because I was focusing on that. But yes, and then, some authors have written awesome writing, like Stephen King's um, on writing, and Anne Lamont's,
Yeah.
and those I like to just to and the James Patterson master's class, and just listening to them talk about really process, but more of their motivation
Mhm.
for writing. So I hope that answers your question.
My favorite writing book is called Word Painting. I probably have it.
Word painting.
Word Painting. I probably have it up there, but I don't see it right off the hand. But it is such a wonderful book. And I know that there are some aspiring authors and some authors that are probably listening tonight. And so Word Painting is a wonderful book. It talks about, the kind of wonderful ways you can capture emotion in just a few words. And it takes you through these exercises to do that. It's a good book. It's a
Oh,
great book.
I'm definitely looking that one up. Word painting.
Just a small one.
I
It's
love the title.
yeah, I know. See, even
I
the
mean,
title.
it is sort of what we're doing. We sit down with a blank canvas, and
Exactly. Paint a
it is
picture,
very
paint the
different.
emotions. Yeah. And I think that's I can't name any one single author that is most influenced me, but this collective of authors who are so talented. And I don't know about you, but I can read a book and then go, "Oh, I wish I'd written that, you know." But I
Yeah.
love reading authors who are very talented. It makes me immediately want to close the page and go to my computer.
Yes, I agree. And I have my favorite authors, but I love the Southern ones, Mary Alice Monroe, but and
Yes.
Dottie Frank, I miss her. I
Oh, yeah.
always look forward to her June
Patty
release.
Callahan Henry. Yeah.
Yes,
She's a good
yes.
one. Yeah. Yeah,
And
there's some really, and Cassandra King. But
yeah,
yeah, and you definitely follow along that same line. So for any of you who love Southern fiction and who love the intersection of women's fiction stories, high relationships, highly emotional in Southern settings, because girlfriend, you can write Charleston. I
oh,
don't know,
thank
you
you.
don't live in Charleston, but oh my goodness, you paint a picture of Charleston because
Well,
I
I'm
read your
born
book and
in
then I
Charleston.
went on vacation there because I read your book.
Really?
And it was lovely. We had such a good time.
I love Charleston. I was born there,
Oh,
but I grew up in just north of there. But my mother had recently had 4 abdominal surgeries in a row within the span of 2 years. She was at MUSC in Charleston for a week after everyone. So I was down there taking care of her 7 days after each one. And for the most part, I was at her bedside, but I had some awesome morning walks and
sure.
treated myself to some really nice dinners and stayed downtown every time in a hotel. And so I kind of do really feel like I know Charleston. And
Yeah.
I would just
I
walk.
mean, I know I keep mentioning it, but the life on loan, the one woman ends up in Charleston area. And when you describe the restaurants and the bridges and the what she's seeing when she's looking out in the morning, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I was writing that one during one of these visits. And Nell and Lady, I've very vividly remember being on the 7th floor of this, hospital and looking out over the Charleston Harbor, and the whole idea. Probably haven't read that book, but the whole first scene just came to me just standing right there. And it's about a nurse actually at MUSC, and so yeah, very
Get
much.
that one. Yeah, I'm
So
gonna
I've
have to
spent a
check.
fair amount of time there, but one of these days I would. Charleston has issues with traffic, doesn't everywhere, and I would want to sell my car and live downtown and ride a bicycle everywhere if I lived there.
Sure.
But maybe,
Yeah. Well, and
maybe.
okay, what I think is that we need to have a writer's retreat there.
Yes.
We need to rent a big Airbnb home somewhere and stuff it full of authors and drinking wine and eating cheese and
We should
talking sports.
totally do that. Let's get rid of this virus and let's do that. Because Charles is
Absolutely.
suffering right now because of this
I
virus. But
vote
yeah,
for that. So, and that's funny because my next question is, this can be an isolating business. Tell me about your author or writing tribe. And so, I need to do a better job of that actually. And I started She's Reading in part because I wanted to reach out to some of my favorite authors, but because what we do every day is very much alone.
it is. It is.
But I have met some excellent author friends that have become dear personal friends. I'm lucky to say.
Yes, it's very true. And I am a loner. I'm an introvert as much as I am an extrovert. It's one of those kind of oxymoron people, but I like to go out, but for the most part, given the choice, I will be right in that chair writing my books.
Yeah.
But
I'm actually called an extroverted introvert. I love people, need people for a minute, and then I
yes,
want to get away.
yes, yes,
So we'll have to rent a big house with lots of bedrooms.
exactly. So we can all have our space. But
Yeah.
well, it's funny that you said, I just wanted to say one thing. Yesterday I was struggling with, whether to, stay in KU or go wide. And I was just kind of admiring this author who's just done so well on her own on Amazon. And I just, Facebook messaged her and we just started like chatting away and, she just told me so many things and that's so, I love it that community and we're all supportive of one another.
Very generous people. I mean, it's a rare occasion that I find someone who is not generous in this industry. And that's agents, editors, authors, I don't know about you. I mean, I loved my legal career, but I pinch myself every morning and go, I cannot believe I get to do this. Cannot.
Yeah. Kelly, it's so true. And right now, in the past, just being quarantined, I would literally, as much as of an introvert as I am, I would have had if I did not have this and something I love to do. Like
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, okay, I gotta get up. What am I gonna do today?
Yeah.
And we're just blessed to have, I pinch
I
myself.
mean, it really is. And I love the writing and I love the business part just as much. I mean, a few years back, I pulled out of the traditional world and started my own publishing company, and partly because of people like you I had seen were such successes. And I thought, I want to do that. I want to take on the business aspect as well. And I love both of it. I mean, both. And I told my husband the other day, we went on vacation and I told him in the car, I said, it's crazy. I would do this even if I didn't get paid. I mean, I would do this. This is what I want to do with my life. And so then I look at my life like a women's fiction novel. I came in with this, and when I do put my head on the pillow for the last time on this earth, it will be knowing I spent my last days doing what I adore.
Yeah.
And, how can it be any better?
I know we are so fortunate. And it's fun because I will like the writing is hard for me. I mean, it's you just have to sit there, and some days it goes better than others, and that's the real work.
Yeah.
The creating the graphics and the book trailers, and I'm not as much of a data cruncher as you, but doing all that, that's the fun. So I'll make myself sit down and write a certain number of words or a certain amount of time or whatever, and then that's the other work is the ice cream sundae.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of readers, y'all don't understand. I mean, when we get up in the morning, we have a job to go to. It might be in our home, but we literally, I write every day, but Sunday, every day. A minimum of 1,000 words, but usually much more. But I write from 9 a.m. I do a little business in the morning, on social media and such, but at 9 o'clock, I'm writing, and I write and then take a quick 20-minute break at lunch, try to walk a little bit so I'm not sitting all day.
Yeah.
Then I write till about 3.
Good for you.
Yeah.
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 I
I don't get it done.
write every day as well,
Yeah.
except my son's been living at home. And so he started, bless his little heart, he started his first real job in December, and he was living at home to save money. He got
Uh-huh.
stuck.
Uh-huh.
And so, but I've loved having him here
Oh, I bet.
during quarantine, and
Yeah.
he's working. So he's working all the time too, but he takes Saturdays off. So we take Saturdays off together now, and we do something. We get out of this house.
Yeah, it's important to take breaks. It's important to get up and walk around for sure. So I want to ask you this. What do you do for fun when you're not writing or immersed in the business of publishing?
Swimming.
Photographer and swimming.
Sitting on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever get to go back to the beach.
Yeah.
Spending time with my family.
Yeah.
I love to play tennis.
You do? I'm a
yes.
golfer.
You are? Yeah. I don't have patience for golf. I say that, I've never really tried it, but I love my dog, and I don't know. There's not a whole lot of time I'm not working, honestly.
Yeah.
But I love to travel, and I would like to be able to do more of that. And this pandemic, this quarantine has taught me not to put those trips on hold anymore. Is to like get out and go.
Yeah. 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 I mean, when I had the stroke, it kind of recalibrates your thinking. You don't always have tomorrow. So you better be, my husband and I just talked about, we're at that age where we're just about ready to retire. Not yet, but it's there. It's in the future pretty soon. And we were thinking we have to be intentional about the coming years. If you're not intentional, you'll get to the end of them and maybe you won't have spent them doing what you really, really want to do. And so, for him and I, we were talking about, well, what do we want our life to look at in the next 10 years? And this writing will be perfect. And so we're sincerely blessed. And many of you are out there, and this is such a weird way of doing Facebook Lives. When we're normally on Facebook Live, we'll see the chat questions. And so I can ask, you the questions that they want to ask, but I can't on this platform. So what I'm asking is that all of you put all your questions there. And when we get done this evening, Ashley and I will both go in and take a look and we'll respond to those. So if you have questions of Ashley, and Ashley, most of our authors who come on here have some sort of a giveaway. And I'm sorry, I forgot to talk to you about that before.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Hold on.
Yeah.
I have to show you because it's so fun.
Oh, fun.
Giving
I love your office.
Cute little tote bag, canvas, and wait. It's right together before we chatted. And this time for Tangled and Ivy, I've never done this before, but it's been so much fun for giveaways. Hardback copy.
Oh,
really
wonderful.
So yes, to one lucky, and I guess what we'll do is from the comments, we'll randomly pick. I'll pick.
I'll let you pick. And
okay.
What you'll do is let's leave it open until in the morning.
Or do you want to do it longer, or is it in the morning fine?
Whatever you want to do.
We'll leave it open until noon tomorrow.
Okay, noon tomorrow. And then Ashley will come on and she'll post the winner. And then you all can talk privately about how she'll get that prize to you. So if you comment, you're in the contest.
Exactly.
So put a comment, tell her which book you'd like, tell her, ask the questions, do whatever.
Whatever you want to know.
Yep. Yeah.
It's been, I love talking to you.
Me too. I love these.
Our Charleston retreat. That would be great fun. Yeah.
Well, a lot of you may not realize this, but I met Ashley initially. We were both in another book chat group, and we got to know each other then. So that was kind of fun, but we really never talked. And
we've never talked face to face.
Yeah. So this was fun. Before I let you go, I have a couple of what's called rocket fire questions. Okay. And it's ones that I'm just going to ask and you just answer the one or the other. So here we go. Are you ready?
All ready.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla. I started to say chocolate. Vanilla.
Vanilla. Pie or cake?
Sorry, you broke up a minute. I didn't hear that.
Pie or cake?
Cake.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Stilettos or flip-flops?
Flip-flops all the way.
Dawn or sunset?
Dawn. But I
Swimming,
like them.
uh-huh. Swimming or walking?
Answer that. Swimming.
Beach or mountains?
I'm a beach girl. I grew up at the beach.
Cook or takeout?
Cook. I cook every night.
Campground or resort?
Resort. 5-star.
Flowers or massage?
Or massage.
Mhm.
I cannot pick. Either one. I love them both.
We are soul sisters, girlfriend. Oh, it's been a delight to talk to you tonight.
It's been really
Even
fun.
if the readers weren't here listening, this was just fun for me.
It was
So
really
thank you
fun
for
me
doing
too.
this.
You're awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I really appreciate it. And I look forward to more chatting. And we really do have to do a writer's retreat in Charleston.
We're gonna work.
So anyway, thank you again. And we're going to go ahead and let Ashley go. She's probably got stuff going, but thank you again. And
Thank you.
readers, don't forget the comments, because you're going to want to get that cute bag and that hardcover. I've got book envy. So, all right.
Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.
Yep. Thank you. Good night.